Okay, so what are you saying, people, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So today, guys, like always, another weekly analysis for you. On the screen are the pairs we'll be analyzing today, but do stay to the end of the video because I do have a bonus pair in store, so make sure you do stay to the end to find out which pair that is. But yeah, guys, we'll get straight into it. First, I will show you a breakdown of my trades for the week. I'll be doing this from now on, just showing you insight to my trading, and then I'll continue with the video. There are timestamps, so if there's a particular pair you want to see, you can jump straight to it. But yeah, so the trades, I had two positions this week, two losses. Actually, they didn't play out too well. Again, just managing risk, really not trying to revenge and take some more trades to try and win them back. Once I do take 2 or 3 losses, I normally just pack up the week and go again next week. So I did take 2 shorts one short on pound NZD and 1 short on gold. 2 losses for this one. I was looking for the market to roll over. Again, I did give out this analysis on my last weekly analysis. We did gap open, so it was a little bit messy to be fair, but we were holding that resistance. So I did get some shorts down the hourly time frame for a push back down to these lows and eventually to go and take up this wick. However, as you can see, that didn't happen. But to be fair, we've now given some nice price action. I'm looking at that being the next lower high. So I'm looking to get back into some shorts next week. I will do obviously a breakdown of pound NZD in the video and looking for a push back down to these lows. I just think with this trade here, I just got in too early. So I will look to see if I can get back into it for pound NZD and for gold. I got into some longs for this one. Like I said, I'm overall still bearish for gold, but I was looking for a price to push into 1740 or potentially 1760, and that's where I was looking to sell it because we were still in that weekly support. So I wasn't really looking to sell into that weekly support. I'd rather price either break through like it's done or pull back and then I'll sell it from higher prices. So I was looking at buys for gold, but gold is just very, very bearish. I got into some buys at 1700, which is that support here. I got in on the hourly time frame support. My stop loss was below that low, and I was looking for a next higher low for another drive to the upside, back into 1740 and potentially 1760. You can see the structure the market's forming. We had the low, high. I was looking for a potential higher low for another drive to the upside, but the market was just very, very bearish and it just broke straight through that support there. So now with gold, I've flipped my bias. Intermediate bias, long term is always still bearish. Now I'm looking for sells and the pullback into some of these areas to take it back down again next week. Again, I'll go into a bit more detail about gold in the video. But yeah, guys, those are my trades. Again, I will be doing this at the start of each video. I'll just show you insight into my trading. But if you want some more technical breakdowns of why I got into the trades, the entry, the stop loss, the targets, and my analysis for that, again, you have to check out my streams, and I'll probably do separate videos for my trades as well as a whole. So make sure you subscribe for that. But yeah, back to EURUSD. So EURUSD this week, very, very bearish, huge move to the downside. As you can see, obviously after the back of some news earlier in the week. It did respect the level that we were looking for a price to respect. Just very, very difficult to find an entry for this one because you can see price retraced and then collapse to the downside. So difficult to find an entry, but the level did hold. But now EURUSD is a little bit messy. It's getting a little bit messy. Consolidation there for the past few weeks, but now we're back inside of it. So not the best pair in the world, the best price action. To be fair, I do like EURUSD, but the price action isn't the best. You can see we do have this long-term bearish trend. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now 6 tests of this trend line. So this is a very, very strong trend line, which the market is respecting very, very well and could give us another roll over to the downside. But for EURUSD, I'll only focus my shorts on this level here. And yeah, see if you can react with that. Potentially maybe test the trend line again. That would be nice. And again, looking for a push back down to the lows of the trend line. Not trend line, sorry. Lows of the range at 0.99200. So that's what I'll be looking at for EURUSD. I'm not a fan of the price action whatsoever. There are better pairs out there that I would probably focus on. But if I do look to trade EURUSD, this is probably the level that I will take it from. And again, we do have consolidation here within the big consolidation, so that's never really a good thing. But momentum on the higher time frames is still very bearish, so only really looking for sells until we break out this structure for EURUSD. So this is what I'll be looking at for euro, a push into a push into 1.00415, 1.00415, and shorts back down to the lows of the range, not trying to push it to the lows down here, just push it to the lows of the range, because most likely we'll probably see a bounce at this level here, because the market is moving sideways. But yeah, EURUSD in terms of bias structure, everything is still to the downside, so focusing on the sells. And now they've broken back into the range, looking for us to retest it and then continue back down to this area for next week for EURUSD. Okay, so next up we've got USD JPY. So for this pair, not too much this week from it. As you can see, very sideways. We do have resistance here the market is respecting, and support down here as well, 141.910 and 144.920. You can call that 145. The market's moving sideways, not a lot of momentum in it currently, but we could be seeing a breakout on the card soon. Again, we are still trading at that monthly resistance here. So if we go to the monthly time frame, all the way over here at 145, well, 144.800 to be more exact, you can see this high, massive move to the downside, and we've just about tapped into that now. So again, like I said last week, expecting to see some downside for USDJPY, but most likely retracement. So again, the market's still very bullish. I'm not calling a reversal from this point essentially, but we could be coming back down to retest this broken resistance here. You can see we're coming up to the resistance of the channel as well that we're trading in. If I just bring that forward, and we've got the lows here, if I connect that as well, you can see the market's coming up to the highs there where we can expect to see some downside. So for this one, I would wait for this support to clear, nice little break and retest of that region, and probably can catch some nice sales back down to retest that daily resistance there around the 139 mark, we'll call it. So yeah, shorts to begin the week off, but again, the market's still pretty bullish, and I still do think we can go higher. So some short-term shorts to the downside for USDJPY, and then coming into 139 as well, be interesting to go long again and pushing it back to basically where it came from, back into this support, which we term resistance now, and even potentially back to those highs there at 145. So yeah, in this area for me, we'll stay away. Lacking momentum, lacking direction, not really interested. If we can get the break of that low there, probably see some downside for the retracement for USDJPY. And then again here, looking for that next higher low to push price to the upside again. First target here, second target back to those highs at 145. So that's my plan for USDJPY. Waiting for the breakout. If we don't break out there, then I probably just wouldn't trade it or look to trade it. Break of 141.900, shorts back down to 139, then from 139. We'll be looking at longs just to stay in tune with that higher time frame trend, back to highs at 145. Okay, so now onto USD CAD. So USD CAD very bullish this week, as you can see, obviously after the CPI news. You can see price, lovely break and retest from that prior high, turn support, really nice reaction to the upside, and taking out these highs, which is what we're expecting price to do for quite some time now. So USD CAD poked its head into 1.33. Again, one of our targets, we're looking for 1.34, 1.35, and potentially even 1.36. So I still do see quite a lot of upside left for USD CAD if my analysis is correct, which so far is looking likely. We are coming into this level here, so you could probably see some type of reaction, but I'm looking for us to come back into these highs here, which is at 1.36473. So that's where the 1.36 target comes from. So like I said, still expecting a lot more upside. Might see a brief reaction in this area here because we did stop for resistance there a little bit and did see quite aggressive move to the downside. So we might see some retracement from this area, which is likely. The market is pretty corrected for USD CAD, so likely to see retracement. But as the direction as to where this thing's going, 1.36 up there is looking pretty likely. So basically for the foreseeable future, looking for retracements, and every single downside move that looks good, obviously meets our requirements, we'll be looking to buy it back up, expecting another higher low to form. So yeah, now that USD CAD has blown past this area here, all of this will be now turned from daily resistance to daily support. We can refine that zone a little bit if we just focus on these 4H highs there. So yeah, looking for some retracement now for USD CAD. Two areas of interest, one being the resistance I just drew there at 1.32, and this prior low here as well, which price just snapped back above at 1.31. So lines up really well with the psychological levels. So yeah, like I said, 1.34 looks like the next target for me. Eventually 1.36, but we're not going to take that in one go. So yeah, looking for some downside, some retracement for USD CAD to start off the week. next higher low for maybe midweek, and we can look to buy that thing up. But I'm not really interested in selling it down at all, really. Where it is right now, only focused on the buys for USD CAD. So that's what I'm looking at for next week. Hopefully some retracement to start the week off, and then yeah, looking for a higher low at 1.32 or 1.31 for next week. Sorry to interrupt the video, guys, but if you are enjoying the content and you find it useful, make sure you go hit the subscribe button down below, and also make sure you drop a like as well. It really does help the channel out. But anyway, back to the video. Okay, now onto Euro Pound. So Euro Pound this week, very bullish, pushing to the upside. I did say to you guys, I'm expecting price to take out these highs here. I was looking for a move to the downside first, but we did take out those highs pretty early on. I think that was Monday, actually. Yeah, Monday. So we took out those highs pretty early on in the week. Did see some slight retracement, basically retesting this resistance here, turn support. Was looking for us to get back down to this area, retest this support, then go bullish, but the market was just very bullish, reacted with that level pretty well and taking out those highs. So now what's next for Euro Pound? Still expecting more upside. I'll go into a bit more depth on this one on the live streams in terms of the analysis, but essentially I'm looking at us coming into this area here, that broken monthly support, now time resistance. I'm looking for us to go and retest that level, which is around the 0.88860 level, which is called a 0.89 really. You play with the psychological levels there. So I'm expecting more upside. And now, especially since we cleared this daily resistance, if we can stay above this, I'm looking for us to go and fill that gap to the upside into that 0.89 monthly resistance there. So for the foreseeable future, as long as we stay above 0.87, which is this level, I am only looking to buy Euro Pound. A correction into this area would be fantastic. Nice high low, and we can buy it back up and stretch it to that level if you want to. Or of course, there's 0.88 would be a nice psychological level to look at. But I do see us pushing a little bit higher than that as well. So yeah, Euro Pound, as long as we can stay above this, nice trend line confluence there as well with that daily zone, retest it, wait for some confirmations, looking to buy it up into that next level. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Not really interested in sells, really. Any sells for me, as long as we stay above 0.87, most likely just be retracement. So I'll be waiting to buy it back up. And targets for this one all the way up at that zone next week for Euro Pound. Okay, so now onto AUD/USD. So for this pair, again, we had targets back down at these lows, looking for the market to take out these lows here. We didn't do that last week, so we're expecting to do it this week, which we did there on Friday. We were looking for the break and retest of this low here, which happened off the back of the CPI news. So again, difficult move to catch this one. A lot of the dollar pairs did the exact same thing at the exact same time, of course. So difficult to get into that one at those highs, but the level did hold and price is still bearish. And I do see more downside long term. Again, I'm looking at price coming down to this COVID area here. We had that big wick to the downside off the back of COVID. That's why I do see AUD/USD heading towards. So as long as we stay below this 0.7 level of monthly was support, now resistance, I do think there's a lot more downside left for this one. So any major rallies I see below 0.7, we'll be looking to short that and anticipate the next lower high forming for AUD/USD. So for this one, I want to see a pullback because we are trading at these lows. Again, there could be some short-term buys for this one, but I would expect us to roll over. So I'm only going to be focused on the sales with this one. There could be some short-term sales from here. I probably wouldn't hold on to a trade from this level. Day trading, nice sales from this level here. 0.676 back down to the lows, then be out of the position. So something like that could be what you're looking for as a day trader. But I'll be looking to see if we can get a push back to this area here, that broken support there, term resistance. That'd be a nice place for me to base some bit more longer term sells after a bigger pullback, of course. Obviously back down to those lows, and next target I'll be looking at is 0.66, just using the psychological levels, because on the left there's not really much to work with. We've got the support here, which price is already starting to break through, and here not really anywhere to focus on. So I'll be mainly focusing on the psychological levels now for AUD/USD until we get to that COVID support there, but looking for some upside into 0.676 or 0.68300, and from that I'll be expecting the market to roll back down again, and targets for the week back down to lows and potentially 0.66 as well for AUD/USD. Okay, so now on to NZD CAD. So NZD CAD this week still slowly rolling over. It's taken out these lows here finally, as you can see. So the market is still predominantly bearish here. You can see in the 4H time frame, it's making really nice lower highs and lower lows, but it's very, very corrective. And again, if you're trading this, again, you're looking to anticipate the lower highs forming around the high of the channel, sell it down to lows, and then look to get out the trade, because it's very, very corrective and difficult to really push the trade far. So with NZD CAD, my bias is still bearish. I'm still looking at us pushing down into this resistance here, turn support, which is at just below 0.78 psychological level. So that's why I'm expecting NZD CAD to get to before maybe we have a bigger reversal, maybe to come back and retest this monthly level here at 0.83, which potentially could happen. So if we do reverse, that's why we're looking for price to get to, but we'll save that for another video. So yeah, NZD CAD, I'm looking at sales back down to here. So there's two things I'm looking at. Either we break out this channel, come back to retest the origin of the channel around 0.80700, and from there I'll be looking for the next swing high to form, looking for the push back down to 0.78 into that monthly zone, or looking to sell at the high of the channel here, depending on confirmations. First target back down to the lows of the channel, and then probably leave a little bit to run back down to 0.78 if we can actually get the move down to there. Obviously depending on the price action, but I'm still very, very bearish on NZD CAD. I know we're trading at these lows here on the daily time frame, but not really interested in buys. If you are looking at buys, again, make sure your buys are around the lows of the channel. So in this type of area, or at least wait for the channel to break out and then look for the retest to continue higher into that resistance, where I'll be looking to step in for some sells. So that's how I would go about it if you're looking for buys. But like I said, my bias is still bearish, especially on the higher time frames. So that's the direction I want to be trading in. And the two areas that I will look to get involved is 0.79600 and also 0.80700 up there, and the targets both down to 0.78 next week for NZD CAD. Okay, so next up, pound NZD. So like I said, for this one, still looking for sales for us to go and take out these lows here. For me, the market is just placed in its next lower high, or most likely placed in its next lower high. We've got the first one there, we've got the second one there, we've got the third, and now I'm looking at that being the fourth. Price did break above this level, but to me it looks like it's just a fake out. You can see very, very key support there, was acting resistance, did break above, but to me this is a bit of a fake out, and as long as we can stay below 1.915, which is that daily level, I do see us taking out these lows next for pound NZD. So on the lower time frames, you can see nice price action there, breaking through that level. We'll be waiting for a retest of this structure, and then from that looking to sell it back down to those lows. Again, that'll be the overall target for the trade, but there's numerous places you can look at to take partials or just to target outright. Support here 1.9. Support here at 1.89, and support here at just above 1.88. So basically just playing the psychological levels for pound NZD, which it does respect pretty well. So that's what I'm expecting for pound NZD, pullbacks into that level there, hopefully early in the week. Then we can sell it down for the remainder. First target 1.9, 1.89, then 1.88, and finally to take out those daily lows at 1.87, 119 for pound NZD. Okay, so now on to CAD Yen. So CAD Yen seeing some downside this week, which we were expecting to see some retracement. Again, we have two main areas here on the daily time frame where I'm looking to see if I can get a retest of this resistance here at 107, and also this level here at 105, and has some nice confluence with this trend line as well. But yeah, for CAD Yen, still bullish. Everything is still pointing to the upside for CAD Yen. Higher highs and higher lows are still being printed on the daily time frame. So I'm still mainly focused with the buys. There is signs that the market is starting to slow down. You can see we are getting more frequent pullbacks and more aggressive pullbacks as well. So I do have the feeling that we might get a slight bounce from this level here, break through and go back to 105, where potentially the next higher low could form, and see a bigger move to the upside for CAD Yen. So it is still an uptrend, but obviously there's some signs that the market is slowing down and potentially running out of juice. So CAD Yen, we had some consolidation this week. We broke out of that, retested it, and then fell to the downside. So looking for some buys back into that consolidation. So again, like I said, not really looking to push it back to new highs, because I do think we will probably come back down again and going to hit 105. And from there, we might see the next higher low form, where we can look for a bit more of a swing trade and push it a little bit further, or again into that consolidation, or back into 107, depending how far you want to push it. But in terms of entries and looking for buys, 107 looks like a great place for that. Same with 105 down there with that trendline confluence. So this is what I'll be looking at for CAD yen next week. I'm not too sure if we'll get down to 105 next week, but most likely 107. So we'll see what we can get there, and looking for buys straight back up into that consolidation at 109,300 for next week. Okay, so now on to pound USD. So for this pair, more downside this week. Again, pretty much every dollar pair fell, apart from like USD CAD and USD CHF. But pound USD hit hard to the downside. We were looking for a pullback into some of these areas here. Didn't quite get the pullback into that area. We did have some retracement, which again, we were expecting to see some upside. But yeah, we consolidated a little bit before that level and then collapsed to the downside. So it didn't quite actually get to that level for the entries. And we did see some new lows as well. We're still trading at those COVID lows here, where we could still see a bigger retracement happen. But long term, I do think that there's still a long way for us to go. If I do go in the monthly time frame and zoom out, I do think we're still long term heading to these lows here at 1.07607. So I still do think there's a long way for us to head to, but in that time, I do think we can have some retracement rather than just fall. We could do, of course, but I think there's likely for us to retrace first. But again, we're not going to jump the gun. Stay in tune with the market and what the market is doing, which is still giving us lower lows and lower highs. So I'm still looking for a bigger move to the upside for pound USD, hopefully back into 1.18, where I'm looking to base some short trades up from, or even 1.21, and retest this level here as well, coming into that monthly level there as well. So I'm still looking at that bigger move to the upside to sell it back down. So that is what I'll be focusing on for pound USD. More short-term trading, day trades for this one. You can be looking at a push into one of these two areas here. So broken support there and this resistance here. But again, I wouldn't hold these trades for too long because of where we're trading right at the lows. There's a chance that we could see some upside. You don't want to be holding onto the sells right at the lows where the market does have a chance to retrace from. So what was that? 1.148 and 1.57. One of those two levels there is where I do think the market can see a nice reaction from a day trading perspective. And again, target wise, you want to be looking for price to come back down to the lows, but I wouldn't hang on to any further than that really. So something like that is what I'll be looking for. And again, shorts back down to those lows, but I'll be looking for a bit more upside. There's other pairs that look a little bit better than pound USD for sells. I'll be hoping for a bit more upside back to 1.18, and again, shorting it back down to 1.14 and beyond potentially. But that's my plan for pound USD from a day trading perspective. And swing trading, we do want to see a bit more juice in that pullback. So looking at 1.18, and from there, expecting the next lower high to form and some new lows as well. And now on to pound CAD. So pound CAD, again, nothing much from this one. Still very, very bearish overall. But if I go into the 4H time frame, you can see what price has done this week, and that is horrendous price action. Really, I wouldn't really look to trade that. I'm hoping for similar price action in pound USD. We're both still in this bearish descending channel, and again, I'm looking for that correction higher to sell it back down. We do, if I go in the monthly time frame real quick, we do have these all-time lows. I think, are they all-time lows? No, they're not, are they? Yeah, all-time lows are just a little bit underneath that down there. So I do think the market is looking to go and run these lows here. Potential all-time lows. Certainly if this momentum continues, I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen. But again, you can see the way the market is moving. Nice channel. We're looking for some retracement for this one. The market is very, very corrective now, running out of juice. Hopefully we can push to the upside, maybe trap some buyers in, and then we look for the next bearish wave to the downside, as long as structure holds, of course. So I'm still looking for the pullback into 1.54. Some short-term longs could be the case, because again, we are trading at the lows of the descending channel, at the lows of the trend line. So potentially could snap some buys for the retracement to the upside. But again, short-term buys, day trading buys. The bigger trades are still with the sells until structure breaks, or we can maybe take up liquidity beneath those lows that I'm talking about on the monthly time frame. But I'm still looking for this trade here at 1.54 back down to that wick there, which is the monthly wick. But short term, potential buys on the breakout of this. So again, I'll be looking at this being the resistance. To me, this is just a fake out on the 4H time frame. So this is the resistance. I would wait for break on the 4H and then look for the pullback for the retest and the entry. And again, day trading, maybe 2-3 days to the upside, and then the bigger sells back down again. But this is the consolidation you're looking for the breakout of. And then if you are looking to swing trade or even day trade, to be fair, you can just short it for a few days and get out, or a day even. But again, the higher time frame structure is still bearish, so that's what I'll be looking to trade in that direction. So yeah, some short-term buys back up to 1.54, wait for some signs of reversal, looking for that next level high back down to those lows at 1.48304 for pound CAD. Okay, so now on to pound yen. So pound yen this week, heavy move to the downside. We did start off pretty bullish. I was looking for us to push into 168 daily resistance, which we just tapped into earlier in the week and then rolled over. I was hoping we could retrace first and then push, but we kind of just gapped open, gapped to the upside on the open, and we just kept pushing. And from that, tapping into 168, we just fell for the rest of the week. So with euro pound, I'm overall still bullish on the pair because structure hasn't broken yet. But it is giving me a lot of signs that the market is running out of juice and we could be looking for a reversal pretty soon. You can see how frequent the pullbacks are, very frequent pullbacks, and also the momentum in the pullbacks, how strong they are, very, very impulsive pullbacks, which is not a good sign for a healthy trend. We want to be seeing a lot less pullbacks and a lot more impulsive moves to the upside in a particular direction. In this case, we're getting impulsive moves up and down. So the market is basically consolidating here, so I'm not really looking to get into buys and push it back to highs. I will be looking for buys, but if we do see a nice move up, I will be looking to sell it back down later in the week. So onto the 4H time frame, you can see a lovely level of resistance here forming, which is now going to be acting as support for us. So like I said, looking for some buys, some short-term buys to start us off for pound yen, but I won't be looking to push the trade too far, most likely into this level here, at best 166 there, but that's at best really, and I will be looking to sell it back down from that same level here, which is at 164,600, and if we do push to 166, I'll be looking to sell it back down again from that same level. So I do think we can start the week off quite bullish for pound yen, but I do see that momentum is short-lived. I do expect us to return back down to this support here at 161. So I'm looking for us to roll over, start the week off, see some nice bullish momentum, and then from there I expect us to come back down again. Or if we do push slightly higher into 166, expecting the same thing right back down into 161. So that's what I'll be looking at for pound JPY. Overall, it is kind of ranging, so we're not really trying to push trades too far here, take the profit and run sort of thing. But yeah, coming into the week, 162,600, looking for buys. Up into 164, 600, or potentially 166, and then from one of those two levels, shorts back down to 161 for next week. So now we're going to take a look at gold. So gold, as we said, very, very bearish for this one, looking for us to push a lot lower actually. You know, we do have very similar price action here on the monthly chart as we did here in 2012, as we're doing right now. And I do think, you know, patterns repeat themselves all the time. If we do push to the downside and fully clear this monthly support, so I am actually waiting for that monthly candle to close to fully confirm that we've broken through that support. I do think we've broken through it anyway, but the monthly candle could potentially pull back up, and then we could actually see some upside from that. So I am waiting those 13 days to see if we can close below the monthly candle. But if that momentum sustains, I do expect us the next target for gold long term back down to 1550. So I'm actually expecting a lot more downside for gold, and potentially even into this resistance here, which remains untested. We could come back down to there before seeing our next bullish wave to the upside. So there's a lot of potential downside for gold. So going into the low time frames, you know, more for next week's price action, I'm still looking at downside. As for targets, again, difficult to work with gold because we are breaking for a major support now. So we'll come into some fresh areas. We'll be looking at this resistance here, which we did break through, never come back to retest this area, which is at 1640, 1630, looking for us to push down into these lows here, which will remain a nice target. Like I said, long term 1550, but we're not really going to push for that in 1 week, are we? So yeah, hoping for some upside purely for retracement. If you're looking to buy gold, you may be able to catch some buys on that consolidation, something like this, a retest of that, and then a move to the upside. But again, those buys very, very aggressive, not really my cup of tea. I'm waiting for price to retrace, broken support, sorry, return as resistance, or a push into this consolidation here. And from there, I'll look to sell it back down. So those are my two areas of interest for gold, looking for that next lower high to form. And again, targets back down to 1640 into that weekly area. And areas of interest, we've got 1690, which is that broken support, and the consolidation, which is at 1700, and a very, very big psychological level, and with those targets there at 1640. So still very, very bearish on gold, looking for this to push further. And as long as we don't see that monthly candle close back above that level in 13 days, we should be good for a lot more downside for gold. So that's what I'm looking at next week for gold, and let's see if we can get pushed back down to 1640. And now onto Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, again, strong move to the downside this week, but overall Bitcoin for me is in a range now, really. So the price action, it isn't the best. It is still trading at a very key area. You can see our price swing high from our last bullish cycle at 19K, more or less, is still what prices are reacting to. So the market's consolidating at a very important area, which still could give us a bigger retracement to the upside. That's still on the cards. But if you do break through this, then we could really see the market collapse, or not collapse, but see another bearish leg like we have done previously. This could be our correction. Next bearish leg could take us down to this area here, around the 13K mark. So that could be on the cards, but we do need to break through that level first. So from a trading perspective, just trading for a day or for the week, necessarily not the best conditions, but if you are looking to trade it, I'll focus on these two levels here. This is where I'm looking at the high of the range and the low of the range, and this is a big fake out. If we do break above this, we could see buys back up into that resistance there. But for me, mainly looking to sell the market because that's where the momentum is currently. So bias is sell, but obviously not sell it at this area because that's where we've got support. So ideally for Bitcoin, I do want to see a move back to the upside, back up to 21,800. Then from there, expecting another swing to the downside, or get the breakout of this key daily area. First target will be this wick here at 17,624, and then from there we can start looking for that 12K mark for that next key area on the higher time frames. But really, if you are looking to trade this one, sells from those highs, and if you are looking for buys, this is a pretty good place to buy it. Probably want it to come back down again first before actually taking some buys from there to get a better entry. But really, you're looking to take advantage of that move back up to 21,700. So that's really what I'll be looking at for Bitcoin. Again, mainly focus on the sales for this one. So that's where I would be interested to step in the market rather than taking the buys. I would be interested in the buys if you break above this here. That'll show me that the buys are really stepping in. So above this level, buys back into this high will look good, and potentially back into that consolidation. So if we do break out this week, 21,700, buys back up to 24,500 look good. But really and truly, we've got a range here. So yeah, sells from 21,700 and buys from 19,300, just taking advantage of those fluctuations next week for Bitcoin. Okay, so now onto Aodu, which is our bonus pair. So for this one, still bearish, looking for us to return back down to those lows. Again, I did do a bonus pair analysis on this one, I think a couple times. I remember did one up here, expecting us to roll over. I'm not too sure, maybe done a second one around this area, but I'm still looking at us getting down to those lows. So the objective is not complete yet, which is why, again, I'm doing another analysis for this one, and we are looking good for some shorts next week. We do have this support level here on the daily chart running at 0.89100. Really nice support there, big move to the upside, second time there and a third time, and also was acting support here as well briefly. Now flip that, is acting as resistance. So I'm looking at that next lower high forming, nice trend line here on the daily chart adding to our confluence, and yeah, looking for us to roll over back down to those lows. On the higher time frames, weekly, monthly, everything is still pretty much in a bearish trend here. So I'm still expecting a lot more downside for AUD CAD. I'm not really interested in buys whatsoever, since we've got multiple time frames, especially the higher ones, still pointing to the downside. So that's the direction I'll be trading in until structure changes. So that's what I'll be looking at for AUD CAD. Again, if we do break above this area, I'm not really interested in the buys. Maybe you can catch a small move to the upside, but if you do break above, I would expect us eventually to get back underneath, and I'll be more interested in those sales back down again. But we'll see what price can do at 0.89100 with that daily trend line coming through. You can see the consistent lower highs the market is printing here, lower high after lower high after lower high. So expect another one to form, and again a continuation back down to those lows at 0.87500. And for targets, we can look at this low here, and our end goal can be those lows all the way down there. So that's what I'm looking at AUD CAD for next week. Looking for some shorts from 0.89 all the way back down to 0.875. So hopefully this video has provide you guys some useful information. Again, this is what I'll be looking at for next week. So we'll see if we can get these trades to play out. Hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share, comment. All the good stuff does really help out the channel. And if you do have a particular pair you want to see as a bonus pair, let me know in the chat. I'll be sure to add it to the list. If you guys haven't done already, subscribe, hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or any videos I do upload in the future. Check out my Telegram if you want to see my setups as well and my watch list for the week. But yeah, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.